Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to the Gita Daily program. So thanks all for joining. So today's topic is Gita second chapter, Sloka number 27. Let's get started. So we'll take blessings of the Lord Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya Sudarshan Gaurntai Lakshmi Narasimhadev and Panchatattva. Before we proceed, let us recite the prayers together. Om Atnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilidham Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll dedicate the session to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. Due to his mercy, we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita in a very simple and practical way. So we thank Srila Prabhupada. So now we'll enter the today's topic. So today's topic is Bhagavad Gita 2.27. So I'll recite the shloka and you can please repeat after me. You can remain muted. जादसीय हि ध्रुवोर्मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च तस्मादपर्यायार्थे न त्वां शोचितुमर्हसि. Repeat. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च तस्मादपर्यायार्थे न त्वां शोचितुमर्हसि. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. We look at the word meaning. Jatasya, one who has taken his birth. He, certainly. Dhruva, a fact. Mrityu, death. Dhruvam, it is also a fact. Janma, birth. Mritasya, of one of the dead. Cha, also. Tasmad, therefore. Aparyare, of that which is unavoidable. Arte, in the matter. Na, do not. Tvam, you. Shochidum, to lament. Arhasi, deserve. So we'll look at the translation again. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So we'll try to recollect the context of the discussion. So we are discussing the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, and in the last few days, we were seeing how Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the nature of the soul. So we have seen that the spiritual knowledge starts with the basic understanding that we are not the body, we are the soul. So we have also seen that the body is temporary and the soul, which is the real person, is the Atma, is eternal. It cannot be destroyed. Last session, we saw that it cannot be destroyed by any material means. Any means, the soul is indestructible. It is eternal, everlasting, and it's always an individual. So these are some of the concepts we have seen in the past few days. And today, Krishna is emphasizing Arjuna further that the cycle of birth and death is unavoidable. Apariyare means there is no parihara, no, there is no solution. But there is, of course, one solution, but in the material perspective, or there is no solution which is directly available to the living entity in the normal course of life. Okay, so this from a material perspective, the cycle of birth and death is inevitable. So one who has taken birth, the death is certain. So sometimes they say there is only one thing in this life which is 100% sure, that is death. Right? Everything else is relative. It may or may not happen, but 100% death will happen. So that is the most certain thing in life. And the second part, something which we cannot perceive, that someone who is dead will take birth again. Is the Lord? No, Lord is giving this information that death is not end of everything. No, it actually again results in another birth. So this topic we will try to understand in more detail today. I'll stop the sharing. Yeah. Yeah. So we have seen that, how do we understand that death is certain? So the scriptures gives, there is a lot of references in Vedic scriptures about this concept of what is a real identity. So our knowledge, the seeker of knowledge, start with the question, adato brahma jitnasa. So now I have to inquire about Brahman. Who am I really, right? So this is the starting of spiritual life. So spirit actually is discussed, as we discussed, what we see with our senses is the matter, and what is beyond our senses is the spirit. And the inquiry about the spirit, that which cannot be perceived by senses, is actually the starting of our spiritual journey. So the basic thing we need to understand that no, we are not the body. So if as long as we remain in the platform that I am the body and everything that is associated with the body is everything for me, and there is nothing beyond that, that then we are in the ignorance. And when we start understanding that no, that we are not that we see, no, we are beyond that which we can perceive. We are not just the body. Then our spiritual understanding starts. So regarding the eternal, no, regarding the most wonderful thing, right? So there is an incident in Mahabharat. It is in the Vanaparva, where actually when the Pandavas were in exile, there is a yaksha who comes, and they try to Pandavas take water from the lake, and yaksha forbids him. Whoever takes water without taking permission, no, they die. So finally, Yudhishthira Maharaj comes, and before Yudhishthira Maharaj takes water, Yaksha will tell, no, before you take water, you have to answer my question. Okay, so, and then Yaksha asks Yudhishthira Maharaj, one of the question he asks is, what is the most wonderful thing in this material world, in this earth, or in this world? What is the most wonderful thing? And Yudhishthira Maharaj answer is very interesting. What Yudhishthira Maharaj says is, ahani ahani bhudani gachandiha yamalayam sheshastavaram michandi kim ascharyam madampara. So what it means is that every moment there are thousands and thousands of people or living in it is Buddha means jivas. So every moment there are thousands and thousands of jiva who is going to the abode of Yamaraj. That means every moment the jiva, there are many jivas living entities which are dying. Sheshastavara Michandi. So, but the most wonderful thing is that whoever is remaining, they think that they never dies. So there is nothing more wonderful than this. No, this was the answer of Vidish Maharaj, which is actually very true. So generally, we see that most of the time, no, we everybody thinks, even though like we see that okay, our parents, our friends, our neighbors, our relatives, we see that every day, every day, so many people are dying. But then we behave in such a way that okay, we will never die, right? So only time when we think about death is when somebody close dies. I mean, and we become part of their activities. No, we actually see the dead body, then we go to the crematorium. So there's something called Smashana Vairagyam or Shamshan Vairagya, right? So this is the temporary detachment that we get when we go to the crematorium. So at that moment, sometimes we think that, oh, so that actually is very cruel. No, like it is something which actually we want to avoid. But then after some time, we again become normal. So this is the how the living entities are designed or programmed in this material world. So the next body, so death, this cannot be avoided. So Krishna is saying Arjuna that no, this death for one who has taken birth, death is certain, and again for one who has died, birth is again certain. So there is only one exception. Unless and until we attain liberation, right? This cycle of birth and death continues. So in the future sessions, we will also see how actually we can get out of the cycle of birth and death, right? But then, nevertheless, the key takeaway is that the death cycle of birth and death actually is continuous process, and we cannot actually get out of the cycle of birth and death unless and until we follow the instructions of the acharyas. Okay, so there is a small anecdote in this context. So once during the time of Lord Buddha, there was a lady who had a very small child who passed away, and this lady was so much lamenting, and nobody was able to pacify her, right? So then they decided to send her to Lord Buddha. Then Lord Buddha she told that Lord Buddha, no, I please actually, give life back to my son. Then Lord Buddha says, okay, I can revive your son, and on one condition. You have to bring me one handful of mustard seed from a house where no death has happened. Then this lady goes, wanders, throughout the village, every house. She finds that there is no house where nobody has passed away. So basically, Lord Buddha wanted her to realize that death is actually a common thing, right? So this is the takeaway. So now, in continuation to our discussion, so we were discussing, how do we know these facts? Because we hear many things, like, we say that, okay, the soul is there, and we say that the person who dies again takes birth. So no, we were looking at certain evidence, for example, from our real life. We saw some cases in the past few days about, near death experience, right? Then we also saw examples of out of body experience. So today, and then we also saw a case of reincarnation, right? We saw the case of James Leninger, who was a fighter pilot in the previous birth, right? So today we will look at a very curious case. So this is the most widely documented or most widely studied case. This case relates to a lady called Shanti Devi, right? So, and this happened, long ago, before independence of India. It happened in, so this Shanti Devi was born in 1926 in Delhi, right? And what was happening is that when she became 4 years of age, she started talking about his previous life. She was telling that, oh, I want to go to my home. No, then the parents say, okay, this is your home. What is the problem? No, she's saying, no, this is not my real home. My real home is in Mathura. So Mathura, actually, right, it's a few hundred kilometers from Delhi. And she was telling that, okay, no, this is not my real home is in Mathura. She keep on insisting, and she started telling, that my husband name is Kedarnath. I have a son, and she told that, she died actually, after the pregnancy, after giving birth to the son. Within a few days, actually, she died because of the complications. And she was able to give very clear details about his previous house. He was telling, what was the surrounding of the house, how was the kitchen, what was the layout, who were the people, what kind of food they used to eat. So much of details she was able to give. Just 4 years she was. And then actually, there was a lot of research done on her case. So at that time, one person who was doing research, she takes her to Mathura. And they actually he brings her former husband Kedarnath, but then disguised as, no, he introduced him to her, saying that this is my brother. Then Shadi Devi actually, she will not agree. She says that, no, no, this is not your brother. Actually, this is my husband in previous life. So she was able to, and then when she sees her son, she becomes very much affectionate. But this 4 year old girl, the son is grown up now. No, but and she is able to connect. And she was become very affectionate and very emotional when he sees his son. So this was actually studied, and then this case became so famous at that time that, no, it is mentioned that Mahatma Gandhi, right? He heard about this case, and he sets up a commission of 15 members to inquire into it, and then they submit a report on this. So this case was so striking, no, and she was even able to tell many of the intimate things, which has happened in the past life. She even told that, I have hidden some money, in the first floor of the house, and she was able to show where she has hidden the money, right? So much of details which actually is, impossible for somebody to fabricate. So this particular story also was studied by Ian Stevenson. I was mentioning Ian Stevenson, who is a famous psychiatrist from University of Virginia. So he dedicated his entire life to study, about reincarnation, and that study is still continuing by his follower, Tucker, named Tucker, Dr. Tucker. So these cases are documented. There are 3,000 cases, I know, about reincarnation they have studied. So what is the inference from this? That, it is almost like undeniable. There are so much of evidences about reincarnation. And then there are other phenomena also. We discussed briefly, like things like birthmarks. That, somebody is killed by violence. They had some birthmark in the next life. There are many cases like that. Then there is this phobia, unexplained phobia, right? A small child or a particular person has is very strong fear of something, like fear of water or a fear of height, without any specific reason. No, or there was no incident in this life, but then they have this very strong fear. So these are all attributed to the previous life memories, experiences. That, so how Vedic scriptures explain is that the experience that we have in this life, they are etched, or no, they are embedded in the subtle body, and these vasanas or impressions, they are carried to the next birth. So there are so many such evidences, no, which actually is like very difficult to deny, no, the existence of the soul, right? So what is that we can do by understanding all these things? What is the lessons that we can take? Is that we to understand the eternal nature of the soul and not be too much carried away, no, by the ups and downs in this life. So this is just one episode, in the series of different experiences that the jiva goes through. But then we should not be complacent, think that okay, oh no, anyway, nothing to worry, right? I'll live forever. But we need to understand what is the real purpose of life, right? So if, wherever we take birth in whatever circumstances, there is always sufferings, right? Like birth, death, age, old age, and disease, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. So these four problems of life cannot be solved. So why should we, why do we suffer like this? No. So an intelligent person asks the question, how can I get out of this cycle of birth and death? How can I actually become happy eternally? So that is the real purpose of human life. Because other jivas, like whether you are a cat or a dog, they are all souls which are transmigrating from one body to another based on their karma. But these other jivas, a cat or a dog, cannot ask, why am I suffering? They cannot find a solution. They cannot ask the higher question, no? What is my real identity? How can I get out of the cycle of birth and death? It's not possible. So this jiva in the human birth actually is a rare opportunity that we get. As we mentioned, there are 84 lakh species of life, and human birth is rarely obtained. So the purpose of human life actually should be to inquire what is the real purpose, to find a solution to the cycle of birth and death. So, accordingly, we should shape our life. We should dedicate our life, or we should prioritize our activities in the life for the eternal benefit. Not for the temporary benefit of finding, finding how can I find money, how can I enjoy, how can I eat nicely. So that these are temporary things. Even animals do, right? Eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. Even animals also do. And after getting the human birth, if we also are doing the same four things, then we are no better than animals. So we have to prioritize our life, identify what is more important, and accordingly spend our time, or dedicate at least some time of our life for our eternal benefit. So with that, I think we come to the end of today's discussion. So are there any questions? You can unmute and ask, or you can post the message otherwise. So please keep joining on the daily session of Gita. We can get a profound knowledge of Vedic scriptures, understand what is the real purpose of life, and accordingly, we can reshape our life so that we don't have to again keep coming back in the next life as some other person. No? There is no guarantee what circumstances we will be taking birth in the next life, right? Again, why to take a chance? Let us utilize our time wisely. So I would thank all of you who are joining regularly. Please also pass messages to other, of your friends, well wishers, so they also can be benefited. Uh, if there are any questions, you can ask, or also you can send me a personal message later. Hare Krishna. So if there are no more questions, then we will end the session here. Thank you all for joining once again, and see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.